do you deal with those crazy climate wackos who keep blocking traffic?
Get out now! Get out! On the ground!
We're environmental protesters! Please!
A group of eco morons chaining themselves to a trailer and causing gridlock chaos for miles on a rural road that leads to the Burning Man festival. But it's too bad that they messed with the wrong police force. A no-nonsense cop ramming his truck straight through their pathetic blockade and quickly began arresting demonstrators at gunpoint. All right, Jesse, should these are Nevada Rangers. I have two questions. Should they be given a raise? And second, is being a climate protester a defense to an arrest?
Yes and no. How's that?
I like it.
But I'm reminded that don't try that in a small town. You can get away with a lot of kind of protests like that in a big city where you have a sympathetic mayor and you go out and you try this in a rural road. Now, you know a rural road, there's hospitals people need to get to. People are delivering babies. People are waiting for water deliveries, commerce. It doesn't fly in rural America. Some of these places, the sheriff has more power than the mayor. So you do not mess with these guys, and these guys do not sit well with people out west. The environmental movement's basically based in Boston, D.C., and New York. You go out there, the real environmentalists are the conservationists. They're the people that are stewards of the environment. And these people are just a nuisance, and they don't know anything about the environment, and they were treated like that.
All right. Well, Harold, before the Rangers arrived, I mean, the climate activists were chaining themselves to the blockade, claiming it is their right. They literally had stopped, I don't know, miles of people trying to get to that Burning Man festival. Have you ever been to a Burning Man festival?
I'm not.
Okay, then let's follow through with the rest of the question.
Activists who engage, I think, in acts that breach the protocols of peaceful protest, they should be held accountable. And you can't block roads. I think Jesse nailed it. When you have access, you have one way in and out for hospitals, for every other kind of public safety mechanism. And, they can be on the side of the road protesting and holding signs and yelling and screaming and saying our environment is under attack. Just like I was against what happened in Canada, where those people were blocking the road, where truckers couldn't get to work. Much like I don't believe you should be able to threaten people in public life just because you disagree with them and not expect some consequences. Now, what they should have been protesting about, and in fact, the reason I don't understand some of these activists, there seems to be no real meaning or purpose or compelling aspect of what they're saying. I would understand them saying on the side of the road, do you realize over the next 20 years, we're going to rely more on batteries to power everything in our lives? And most batteries are made in China. We have to start manufacturing batteries here. But that lady there, maybe she has that in her back pocket and she didn't say it. But to put yourself across a road and block this, I just don't understand what we're trying to get accomplished. I understand the issue, but this is exactly the wrong way to get it done.
All right, Dana, 57% of the people disapprove of Biden's handling of the climate change issue. And the Inflation Reduction Act, as I understand it, is projected to cost over $1 trillion, a lot of it for green energy. I mean, what else do they want?
Well, I think that number is very interesting because on the left, especially with young people, they disapprove of Biden on climate because they think he hasn't done enough.
Right.
They would be protesting with those guys out there on the street. Then you have working people and business people who are saying, we also want green energy at some point, but we have to get there in a responsible and reasonable way, in a timing that makes sense so that we don't wreck our economy in the meantime. You cannot find a group that is less persuasive than the climate activists like this. Yes. So remember how upset we were about the guy who was trying to get to work, who needed to get to work, or he was going to have to go back to his parole officer and he was going to have to go back to jail.
Right.
What happened here with these rangers, that should always be the case, not only for the health and for the safety, especially
but
people trying to get to the hospital, but that guy had to go back to jail because of these nuts. And I think that they're so elitist and entitled. And we're just eco-protesters, don't do anything to us, but what about what they're doing to everyone else? I actually think they're hurting their cause more than helping it by far.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. They said the reason for the protest was the popularization of Burning Man among affluent people who do not live the stated values of Burning Man. Essentially, they're upset because they think Burning Man is too right-wing. So I don't think that represents. I've never been. I know for a fact that you walk in, you won't see like Guy Benson walking around in a sweater vest. Okay. So those people, they do a lot of harm for their cause, right? Because nobody really feels that way. And it's become so politicized with climate change now. And it shouldn't be because we all live here. And I remember even being shocked the first time I learned that it actually wasn't until the late 90s. But when you have people like this out here doing things, nobody's like, you know what? I want to be on. I want to join that. That looks like a good idea. No.
I would play that clip every morning just to get me riled up.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Do you remember who was it? The Italians? They got out of all their trucks and they literally ripped
No,
them
the
off.
Germans.
Was it the
The
Germans?
Germans,
Some Europeans.
Should we take the show to Burning Man? You think we should do it?
I don't go near that place.
Neither
You
would I.
guys go.
Cheyenne
Okay.
Frontier
guys are
Days.
going.
We'll go to
I
Cheyenne
would
Frontier
go.
Days.
I'm sure you're shocked to hear
Dana and I are traveling. Anyway, coming up next, the COVID clowns are back in town.